Hello, my name is Ashley Miller and I am Union County's Mobility Manager. During this presentation, I'm going to explain what a Mobility Manager is and how I can be of service to the residents of Union County, Ohio. And I am housed at the Union County Health Department, and my grant is funded through the Department of Transportation. So first, you might want to know, what is a mobility manager? What does mobility management means? So here I have the definition from the National Center of Mobility Management. And mobility management is an approach to designing and delivering transportation services that starts and ends with the customer. It begins with a community vision in which the entire transportation network, that can include public transportation, private operators, cycling and walking, volunteer drivers, and others, to work together with customers, planners, and stakeholders to deliver the transportation option that best meets the community's needs. So, in short, I'm an asset to the community in transportation networks to try to get what they offer out to the community. Communities across the country are seeking mobility management practices that offer innovative approaches for delivering coordinated transportation services when serving older adults, people with disabilities, veterans, and low income individuals. In rural and small urban areas, the challenge to provide mobility to these groups is especially daunting, as trips are often long in duration and may require crossing multiple jurisdiction boundaries. The mobility manager focuses on meeting individual customer needs through a range of transportation services that is vital as communities balance increasing needs with funding and resourcing constraints, along with the amount of that gas is nowadays. So transportation is something that's become really hard for everyone in the county, and but majority for our most vulnerable populations, which happens to be our veterans, our senior citizens, and our individuals with developmental disabilities, along with our low income families. Some key roles that a mobility manager has is to be able to understand and advocate. So, mobility management begins and ends with a laser focus on a lot of transportation customer groups. So, we have to focus on our current and potential riders, we have to focus on our employers, what economic development groups need support, local business associations, human services agencies like ours here in Union County, with that's housed in the same building that the health department's housed in. We also have to convene and facilitate. So we have to cultivate partnerships and create or join collaboration efforts to that include transportation providers, planners, and other community stakeholders. I also take a lead in facilitating my own coalition. If you've ever seen any type of branding that says UC Moves, that is me facilitating a whole county conversation with stakeholders and partners, talking about how can we solve some of these gaps and some of these issues that we're seeing in our county as a collaborative group. We're also going to work on designing and planning. So, a huge principle of mobility management is to design local and regional solutions customized to fit the community's needs, resources, and vision. So, a big thing that many of you might have heard about was public transportation. That might be a hot button topic here in Union County, but that's what mobility managers do. Is it something that the county wants? Is it something the community needs? So that is a conversation that I have a lot with is, okay, how do we get across this bridge? What do we do? What's the next step? Then after I do design and plan programs and solutions to these issues, I also have to launch and sustain them. So when you launch something that's amazing, you get it off the ground, but how are we going to sustain it? We don't want this federal money going to waste if we're going to just do something for 1 year and then it doesn't take off the ground and then we're back to square one. Then we're going to inform and connect. So all mobility managers have one goal, and that is connecting customers to the transportation options that are most responsive to their needs. So if you don't want to be a part of a bus going into town and you'd rather have an individual person pick you up, that's fine. That's your need. And I will make sure to fill that need with any transportation resources that we have in this county. And specifically, what resources we do have for our senior citizens will be coming up after this next slide. This slide is just to give you some background information of why mobility management is important in Union County, because transportation is important in Union County. And so if you see mobility management, I want you to think about transportation. And I don't want you to think about a giant COTA bus. I want you to think about the little UCAT vans or a taxi, Lyft, Uber, ride shares. I know neighbor to neighbor. So I want you to think of all the ways that you can be mobile within the county without a car. So that is the whole point of why we have a mobility manager in Union County, because Union County is the third fastest growing county in Ohio with about 59,000 residents. Of those residents, 6.6% have a disability and 12.7% are over the age of 65. So in the most recent community health assessment in 2019, 1 in 10 reported that lack of transportation is a major barrier for health and quality of life needs. So that is what we're trying to work towards, is how can someone still be independent and still have to get a ride from their community, which is fine. We have resources in place to help these individuals. So you're probably like, okay, well, what transportation options are there even in Union County? Well, there's a good bit. It's mostly because they see the need, and most of these agencies have their own transportation. So as an example, you can get a ride through Legends Lift and Transport. They will transport anyone, whether you're in a wheelchair with a walker, whether you're bedbound. They can transport you to medical appointments, or they can transport you to your granddaughter's graduation if you wanted to go. They offer rides paid through Medicaid and Medicare that they get finalized through Jobs and Family Services and their Senior Services Department. They can also take out-of-pocket pay too if you don't have insurance. Then we also have UCATs, which is a huge, huge asset to the county, because they make a lot of trips for medical appointments. So not only local, but also out of county. So if you needed to go to Franklin County, to Ohio State for any reason, as long as it's 48 hours before you schedule that ride, they should be able to secure it, unless they're already full for that day, which we are seeing an increasing amount of that, where they don't have enough drivers to go around. This is all through transportation in the whole state, where there's not enough people to drive the vehicles to do the transportation. COTA is seeing the same thing in Franklin County. There's just not enough people to put, with the workforce shortage, there's not enough people to complete these trips. We have Union County Neighbor to Neighbors, an incredible nonprofit. I strongly suggest you look into it if you don't already have it. They do have a fee to become part of Neighbor to Neighbor, where a volunteer would be matched with you, and they can help come to your residential address to help with, let's say, you need laundry done, or you want you want your floors vacuumed, or maybe you do just want to go to the grocery store and just take a half an hour to just go up and down the grocery store aisles. Sometimes I do that. It's just enjoyable and self-care in my eyes. So they do have waivers though, so you don't have to pay full price. So please reach out to them. But this might be overwhelming. You might see a lot on this page. There's also veteran services that can help get you with transportation if you are a veteran. We also have your care source provider. If you have care source, they can provide transportation to medical appointments as well. Bridges Community Action, they don't do medical trip appointments, but if you need to get to work, they have solutions to that. They have programs within their agency that can help you with gas vouchers, help you get to work. Same with the Board of Developmental Disabilities. I don't have them on my slide, but they also do waivers if you have individuals that you know of or in your family that have developmental disabilities. So there's lots of resources, but I guess the con to these resources is that they're not all available at the same time every day. It depends on staffing, it depends on agency hours, it depends on if it's holiday, weekend. So there is lots of maneuvering around the transportation landscape here in Union County. But I don't want you to be overwhelmed because UCATs can help any senior over the age of 62. You will ride completely for free as long as you have Medicare. Um, and if not, you can also get a ride through UCATS through one of their contracted providers. So that is with Senior Services, that is with Memorial Hospital, the board of DD. So there's lots of options. So I don't want you to feel like a burden. We're here to help you. And on this screen, you can see the blue link at the bottom. That is their new digital downloaded form for you to submit an application for a ride. So you no longer have to call UCATS. You can now go online and complete this form, and they will reach back out to you via phone or email, whichever one you prefer. But now you don't have to wait on the phone for someone. You can do it as soon as you know you have a doctor's appointment. You can go online and schedule your ride. So again, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. There's lots of options in Union County, and my job is to make it as least um, flustering as possible. My job is to make it easy, streamline it, get you the services that best fit for you, and make sure that you're happy and that you're getting what you need out of transportation. If you have any questions, if you're super interested in any of the um, transportation agencies that I listed on my previous slide, and maybe you don't know where to start, please call me. So my number is 937-642-0801 with extension 2063. I would love to hear from you, even if it's just something like, hey, I have an idea. I don't need transportation, but I have an idea. Absolutely, call me. Any idea is great because I want to hear from you. I want to hear from the community, and I want to know how I can best serve Union County and their residents. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.